We're talking about okay, let me stand this side. We're talking about Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. So this law states that the volume of a compound is the combination of the whole number ratio of the individual compounds. Now, the volume of hydrochloric acid is a combination of 1 mole of hydrogen gas and chloride gas. Now, the law says that we have a ratio. It is coming in a ratio of 1:1 and produce 2. I hope I'm following. So a ratio of 1:1:2. So the mass of the product is the combination of the whole number ratio of their different masses. Okay, now let's use this second example. Now, the combination of 2H2O, that's water gas. Now, the elements have a ratio of 2:1, that 2 mole of hydrogen gas and 1 mole of oxygen gas to produce 2 water gas, 2 moles of water gas. Now, the law is just experiencing itself, saying that the mass of the product is the ratio of the elements in the combined state. Noticing that 2:1 to produce 2 and 1:1 to produce 2. Now, the 2 must be combined to be seen there. What do I mean? If you check if the equation is balanced, you see that hydrogen is 2 here, hydrogen is 4 here, and oxygen is 2 here. Is balanced. Hydrogen is 2 here, chlorine is 2 here. Is balanced. 2 hydrogen, 2 chlorine. 4 hydrogen, 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 2, 4. Now, these 2 lines attaching to the whole, 2 for oxygen only. So it's balanced. Now, let us look at a particular example that can give us an edge to what that law is trying to say. Now, example 1 says, what volume of oxygen is required for the complete combustion of 15 centimeter cube of ethane, which is C6H6, if all gases are measured at STP? This one is not all about gas equation, no. Now, it's just about understanding the question and knowing how to solve it. Now, remember that for every question that they give you, there must be a reaction for this combining volumes. Let us go back to that question again. What volume of oxygen is required for the complete combustion of 15 centimeter cube of ethane? This is a normal, constant appearing question. If all gases are measured at STP, good. Now, this big question: what is the total volume of the product of the reaction? Now, they will give you the reaction of the question. Okay, let us go to the reaction of this question. This is the solution. The equation of the reaction says 2 moles of ethane plus 7 moles of oxygen gave us 4 moles of carbon dioxide plus 6 moles of water. Now, this is just a reaction. Now, from Gay-Lussac's law, 2 moles of ethane, we need 7 moles of oxygen to produce this. Are you following? That is what the law says. That is what the reaction is saying. 2 moles of ethane need 7 moles of oxygen to produce this. Now, what will 15 moles of ethane use to produce? When 15, what manner of oxygen is 15 moles going to use to produce the products? That is the question. So now we have to use 15 moles of ethane that they asked us, then we multiply it by the number of moles of oxygen, then we divide it by the number of moles before. It's just like, okay, 7 divided by 2 times 15. It's just like saying 7 divided by 2 times 15, or you say 15 times 7 divided by 2. Let's go back to what I mean. Now, this is the equation of the reaction. Now, they said what's the volume of oxygen required for complete combustion of 15 cm3 of ethane. Now, complete usage of this ethane, because ethane mixing with oxygen is going to combust. It's going to burst into flames. It's a reaction. Now, 15 centimeter cube of ethane, that is what they gave us. But in the reaction, we have 2 centimeter cube or 2 moles of ethane. Now, what we will do is we will use the one they give us, which is 15, multiply it by the oxygen that is already using in the equation, and we'll divide it by the 2 that the equation used. Once you do that, you will get the total number of oxygen that will be used to produce this. From our calculation, you see 15 times 7 divided by 2, which gave us 52.5 centimeter cube of oxygen needed for the total combustion, complete combustion of ethane to produce all this. Now, the question for B says, what is the total volume of the products of the reaction? The total volume of the products of this reaction. That is what we are going to look at now. All right. Now, since 2 moles of ethane produce 4 moles of carbon dioxide, that means 15 moles or 15 cm3 of ethane will produce what? It will produce 15 times 4 divided by 2, just like we did in the oxygen. That means 15 moles of ethane will combust with 7 moles of oxygen to produce 52.5 moles of oxygen. I don't really know if you understand what I mean. Now, if you times 15 times 7 divided by 2, give you 52.5. That means this is the total oxygen we require for 15 moles of this of ethane to be combusted. Now, for ethane, 15 moles of ethane we produce 15 moles of ethane that I know will produce 15 times 4. 4 means 4 moles of carbon dioxide. 4 moles of carbon dioxide. So if 15 centimeter cube or let me say 15 centimeter cube or 15 moles of ethane mixes with 4 moles of carbon divided by the 2 that is in the reaction, it will give us 30 centimeter cube of. That is what they will produce here. That is what they will produce here. In other words, if we want to rewrite this equation, we will have it in a way that we have 15C2 and we have 15C2 and we have 52.5. Then we have 30 and we have 45. That will be the end point of the alternate reaction for 15 moles of ethane. But instead of us going that far, we will just do this calculation to get what we need. Okay, so let's continue. So 15 centimeter cube of ethane we produce 15 times 4 divided by 2, which is 30 centimeter cube of carbon dioxide. Now, while for water, 2 moles moles of ethane produce 6 moles of water. Now 15 moles of ethane will produce what? It will produce 15 times 6 moles of water that were divided by 2, which is the 2 moles of ethane, which will give us 45 centimeter cube of water. Now the total volume produced, that is the last question. Now we have 30, which is of CO2, and 45, which is of water, give us 75 centimeter cube. That's what was produced. What do I mean? Watch. Now our production does not lie on this reaction. It lies on our calculation from the reaction. Now if we have 15 times 7 at this page, we have 15 times 7 divided by 2, it produces oxygen. Now for the reactant side, from the product side, which is this point, all this was produced. Listen, from the product side, which is from this side, all these whole were produced, which we have 15 times 4 divided by 2. 15 times 4. 4 is the number of moles of CO2 divided by 2, which gives us 30. That means it will not be 4 again, it will be 30. If 2 produce 4, therefore 15 will produce 30. If 2 produce 4, therefore 15 will produce 30. If 2 produce 6, therefore. So let's look at that example. What volume of oxygen is required for the complete combustion of 15 centimeter cube of ethane? Which is this. If all gases are measured at STP, remember I told you it's not a gas, general gas equation or something. You just ask for us to calculate the volume that is required. Now the second question is the total volume of the products of the reaction. Now whenever you are given this, you'll be given a reaction that supports this question. Now the equation of the reaction is this. This is the reactant side and this is the product side. Now from the reactant side, we have that 2 moles of ethane react with 7 moles of oxygen to produce this. Now from the Lewis law, 2 volumes of ethane will need 7 moles of oxygen to produce this. Therefore 15 moles of ethane will need what? It will need 15 times 7 divided by 2. How do I mean? Now if 2 reacted with 7 to produce this, therefore 15 will be reacting with 7 divided by 2. Hope you are following. 15 will be reacting with 7 divided by 2 to give us the answer. Okay, now that is for oxygen. If you check for us, you see the answer is 52.5 centimeter cube of oxygen. That means 15 moles of ethane we need to react with 52.5 centimeter cube of oxygen. And that is the first question. What volume of oxygen is required for complete combustion of 15 centimeter cube of ethane? The answer is 52.5 centimeter cube. Okay, so we have the second question, which says what is the total volume of the product of the reaction? Now from that question we have the reactant part. Now the reactant part comprises of carbon dioxide and water. We have 4 moles and we have 6 moles. Now they told us that 2 moles of ethane produce 4 moles of this. Therefore 15 moles of ethane will produce what? Since 2 moles produce 4, that means 15 will produce 4 divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now 15 will times that 2 and it gives us 30 centimeter cube of carbon. Just simple. It's not hard. Now this one is what it will produce at the reactant side. Now 2 moles of ethane produce 6 moles of water. Now, what will 15 moles of ethane produce? Now, if 2 moles produce 6, that means 6 divided by 2 is 3. 15 times 3 give us 45 centimeter cube of H2O. It's just simple like that. Now, if you have that, you have gotten the volume for carbon dioxide and that of water. Now, we calculated that volume produced at the product side. We have carbon dioxide and water. Now, we calculate 30 plus 45 give us 75 centimeter cube. From this reading, we have answered the second question. Alright, let us go to Avogadro's law